I just listen. I watched the Chappelle thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I had seen the LGBTQ stuff, but the Woman of the Year comment joke, that's like almost word for word, and it's like two people could have thought of that, but I don't know, man. It just seems like way too aligned with what he was getting at,
Well, yeah, and the reason I was kind of ranting about it a little bit, it's not even, there is a chance he also just happened to think of it himself, but I got kicked off Patreon for that joke. So it's like, I have in writing that joke is why I got booted off all these platforms. And so now to see all these sellout comics be like, oh, we have to stand up for comedy. I'm like, dude, I've already done. That's why when people are like, oh, Owen went crazy and he got kicked off all these platforms, I'm like, dude, it's word for word the Chappelle joke. It's in writing. I like sued Patreon. It's like a fact. And so when I was making fun of all the trans stuff 5 years ago and the hashtag Me Too, like the pound Me Too joke and all that, now some of those bits are obvious, but at the time they weren't. And so I'm getting deplatformed and all the comics, shut their mouth and take their lollipops. And it's like, so to watch Chappelle do it now, I'm like, that's just kind of rubbing it in a little bit, but it's all good. I just thought it was kind of funny. I figured you'd get a kick out of it.
So wait, the Caitlyn Jenner thing, how did you get, so Patreon?
Yeah, that's a whole other story. It doesn't even really matter, but
no, but I'm saying you got in trouble for you doing the joke in a video?
In a self-produced special that I did called How Dare Me. You can watch it on Amazon, but or unauthorized.tv. But no, I was marginalizing the trans community. I mean, literally, it was like, I have it in writing that these are the jokes that were why comedy clubs wouldn't have me anymore and all that stuff. It's like, and now everyone's pretending like that isn't what happened, where they're like, oh, Owen went crazy and he did all these jokes. I'm like, literally Chappelle stole the jokes and is now getting $60 million for the jokes and not getting kicked off YouTube for them. Like that LGBT joke, like, the format was the same exact format where you start with the L's and then you got the G's and then the B's, and the B's will fuck anybody. But, dude, it's the same joke. And like, yeah. I know that it's lifted because it's normally LBGT and we both did LGBT. And then the whole premise of the joke is you get to the T's and the T's want to cut off their dicks and go crazy. And the L's are like, we should have just knitted sweaters and drove our Subarus, like how the alphabet's getting increasingly insane. Like I got like 1 million views on YouTube for that joke before they kicked me off. And so now and I figured that's why I wanted to talk to you, because you've always been an honest guy about sellout comics, where it's like to watch them pretend that isn't the same joke is just crazy. Because now they have all this fake virtue of like, oh, we got to stand up for free speech. It's time to mock Caitlyn Jenner. I'm like, bitch, I did that while it was happening. And you're seeing that a lot.
You legitimately got pushback because you like lost your agent and everything from jokes, right?
Yeah, CAA, Principado Young, all of it. I lost a development deal. I lost my whole college touring thing because I said giving a kid hormones and puberty blockers is child abuse. And I even have the emails from CAA where they're like, how, that those are such problematic views, because at that time, that's what they were pushing. And that's now over. So, these comics that are now pretending like the trans stuff is so edgy. I'm like, you got any Ronald Reagan impersonations? Right. Let's make fun of MC Hammer's spending habits. Fucking real cutting edge stuff here, guys. And so it's like, oh, there's such a truth teller. I'm like, dude, it's a joke, but the good news is it got me to a point where I didn't have to rely on that system anymore. It's obviously like kind of sucks now. Like, I think comedy used to be a lot more fun. And now it's like, it just seems so controlled and gay,
Well, it's weird that Chappelle gets, it just, I don't even know if this is your point or if it's my point, but like the comics will literally gravitate towards anybody who's the most popular, whether it's Rogan or Chappelle, and they'll just, even if he's wrong, like I sent Chappelle a text after he won the Emmy, I think in 2020, he won an Emmy and he did a speech about, critics, this is a learning, what do you call that? Learning principle for, what do you call that, Adam?
Learning experience, teachable moment.
Yeah, this is a teachable moment for you critics, because they were going after him because that was when he first started doing trans jokes, So I sent him a text. I go, you're an entitled cunt.
Look, you're holding a fucking statue.
I mean, I read all the reviews, and they said so many terrible things. They were embarrassed for me. I had lost my way. It wasn't even worth watching. I hope all you critics learn from this. This is a teachable moment. Shut the fuck up forever. Two in a night. These aren't them. These are the ones I won for the other ones, motherfucker.
You're literally
and also this special is called Sticks and Stones, and you can't take a little pushback from the critics, because he was saying it's a teachable moment for the critics because they didn't like it. I was like, your special is called Sticks and Stones, but like literally, if the guy gets big enough, nobody tells him anything. Nobody tells him anything about anything. Like nobody in his camp, none of his friends, everyone's so afraid of him that he just goes around to saying stupid shit. I'm like, you're a fucking clown. I go, people, this in the heart of the pandemic, I go, people don't have a job, and you're bitching about critics when your special's called Sticks and Stones. He goes, oh yeah, I knew they were gonna. And whenever I texted him before, he never got back to me. He got back to me in 4 minutes when I texted this, called him a fucking bitch.
He is a bitch. Dude, it's like, guess what?
That's a teachable moment for all the listeners out there. If you want to get someone's attention, don't kiss their ass. Call them out with some fucking truth to it, and they'll come back. Oh, like the one guy who like calls the fucking king out, the court jester. He's like, hey, you're a fucking idiot. And he's like, yeah, I know. I guess someone in my camp should have told me I should have called it Sticks and Stones if I'm going to get mad at the critics.
Dude, guess what? I did a documentary in 2014, a stand-up documentary. Guess what it was called? Sticks and Stones. The guy's such
Are you serious?
Yeah. Yeah, he's going to end up stealing my bike, dude. Like, I got to lock up my bike around that Chappelle character.
Wait, you're at Sticks and Stones in 2014?
Yeah, it was called Sticks and Stones. It was a documentary about stand-up comedy that I did. And it got, 500, 800,000 views on YouTube before they deleted my channel. And it's like, so he's done.
Have you guys crossed paths very much?
No, to me, he always seemed like that autistic guy that wanted to be left alone. So I didn't really care. But it's like.
But he could have seen you. He could be easy. He could easily be aware of you in terms of like, he's seen you at a comedy club, right?
Or you could watch. I do at least a 2-hour stream every day. So it's like. Yeah. He also talked about old school gays versus the new gays. And he even used like going hard in the paint, like all these like phrases. I'm like, dude, are you like Bike Thief Bear? Because it's like, and that's the cool thing about knowing what celebrity really is. I'm not envious of celebrities. Like I'll make fun of Joe Rogan and all these people. And they're like, you're just jealous. I'm like, dude, a fucking midget that looks like a thumb. Like Whitney Cummings is bragging about that. And then the next sentence, she's like, and I'm on ketamine, so I don't kill myself. And people are like, oh my God, you're so brave. She literally takes ketamine. Oh, sorry. My family's can almost kind of hear me. So I'm going to stop talking about dark stuff. Ketamine, dude.
Let me get closer.